Hey everyone, welcome back to Right Media Group Chronicles. Today we got Giuseppe Quarata on the show. He is a founder who figure out what most marketing agencies miss. They generate leads but have zero idea what happens afterwards. He has built a niche helping e-commerce and manufacturing companies actually closing them through CRM integrations and workflows. Fair warning, he's going to challenge what we all believe. Giuseppe, it is a pleasure to have you on the show.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'm super happy to be on your show. It's awesome. Great person. We spoke before. I love it.
Yeah, no, we did. Giuseppe, like I said, it's exciting to have you on the show and especially diving into that model, like what happens after a lead comes in. Because most of the time, agencies just deliver the leads and they're hands off. Like what happens after they don't care. And you do. And I really sort of want to clarify that aspect on the show today. Let's start off with something easy, Giuseppe. Can you tell the audience a little bit about you, your background, and what the agency does today in your own words?
Yeah, sure. I'm originally from Italy. My name gives away, Giuseppe.
Mm.
Even if now I live in the US. My background is electronic engineering. I always been into tech, did so many things, like you grew up with the love of repairing electronic stuff, like opening laptops, computers, putting apart, trying to understand. And, like I took that to engineering school. I work at really, I work in research. I worked actually in really high power system like a nuclear plant. And after seeing all of that, I moved to the US for a totally different reason. I actually stayed. And with that, I decided to stay in the US. And that point I was like the only way was allowing me to stay in the US was to open my own business. That's how my agency started, but it didn't start with the model we have today. The model we have today was, I would say, like happen because we start to see something with our clients that and that was needed. We always say like, let's try, let's help. Actually, we didn't say let's try. We actually had a request. I had a request from my clients to help him figuring out this specific problem,
Mhm.
and since my background is in technology, I was like, well, I can totally do this. I can find out. And I figure out, and I was like, wait a minute, this is big. There is a like, and I start to speak ask the same question to all the clients and more people, and everyone had the same problem. They didn't even thought about it. They didn't have ever questioned it because they were like, all I need is more leads.
Mhm.
I need more leads, more leads. It's all about volume. I need to pay more ads, get more leads. I need to do more cold calling. I need to do more of this and that. But my question was about, I question everyone, like, what happened to those leads? Like,
Mhm.
let's say you even get like 100 people to say yes, and now there are warm leads. What do you do with them? Like you just maybe
Mhm.
spend 2 or 3 calls with them, and if they say no, now they're gone, and you keep putting money on cold call, and you totally forgot about them. They're gone.
Mm, mm,
You don't keep it nowhere. They are, and maybe sometimes people they even have a CRM connect there, is there, but no, they forget it anyway because there is no reminders. There are nothing happen. But yeah, that's to give you an example. Like all my technology background is like it's kind of interesting how it came back, even if the original business I started was a marketing company, lead generation, and then it's kind of fun how technology came back to me. Like pretty much, it's like,
mm.
hey, this is what you who you are. This is what you know. Why don't use that?
I actually just got off the podcast conversation and his father actually came from an engineering manufacturing background.
Mhm.
And you come from a similar background, but his father came from it. And actually, it snowballed with all that problem solving. And the son, who's now owns an agency, is picking up that problem solving, which a lot of it is in marketing and in what you're doing as well. It's like, how can I solve this problem? And you have that technical mindset to put to work. My question to you is because I found very interesting in America, there's a lot of hustlers. Everyone's got a business, right? Did that pick up or rub off on you when you moved to America and you realized maybe I can open up my own business?
Yes, for sure. I would say it was portrayed so simple because my literally what I did, I was like, it's funny. My first client, I literally met him at the gym. We were working
Yeah,
out
tell me about
together.
that.
friend and everything. I didn't even know he owned a business. We were
Mhm.
just like, oh, I like how you work out. I like how he liked how I work out. I was like, let's work out together. And then after a few months working out together, he was like, oh, actually, I have $1 million business. I'm like, oh, okay, sure. I was like, beautiful.
Wow.
And he asked me like, "Hey, can you help me?" Because he knew my technical background. And I was like, "Well, I don't have a visa and everything." And he was like, "No worry, I'm gonna pay for the lawyer. Let's figure this out." And I was like, "Okay." And the lawyer was like, "Why you don't open your business? You have a degree. Just just start your own business." And I was like, I feel like the way was given to me, like almost like such a basic things. Why haven't even thought of open a business? I never felt like such a simple feeling, like in being from Europe in Italy, like it feels always like open the business is the hardest thing because like you never know how much it's gonna cost you, what they're gonna ask from you. Like the government is gonna come the next 3 days to ask anything. Like you haven't even start making money, you already have to pay taxes.
Yeah,
Stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
And you're like, okay. And like in US it's like, nah, it's just like, you do this application online. Some states it's $0. Some you don't pay anything to open your business. Some states it might be like 20, $100. But like it's pretty cheap pretty much. And then
Mm.
you have a full year before even you have to think about taxes
Oh, wow,
or
really?
pay anything. I mean, yeah, that's kind of like the interesting things. I was like, oh, okay. And then people like they are excited. Like you tell them like, hey, I'm opening a business, and if they have their own business, they're like, oh, you should come to this group. Like we speak about, and then like,
Everyone's connected.
yes, it's like they're excited you are the idea of opening a business. I don't know. That's the feeling. Don't I never had that feeling. Or maybe I was lucky. Maybe when I came to US, I just met the right people. And
Mhm.
when I was in Italy, Switzerland, and everything, I didn't met those people. But I always felt that growing up in Europe was always about like get the degree and just like work for someone else. And again, even asking my mom has a business, her own business, and she told me when she started business, she had what we call here US IRS or like
Mhm.
tax collector for something like that. They're like showing up 3 times at her business to make sure that she was
Oh,
not doing something bad or running something. And
Yeah.
my mom was like, I just started. Like I didn't I
yeah.
didn't even have money yet, like and they were like they just like were right away on her looking that she was making the right choice. And I'm like, how you're not helping. Like you just
It's
started.
like they don't want you to have a business. They're making it hard on purpose because the more business owners you have, the less people that are actually doing, sorry, but slave
Yep.
work.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a
I
thing.
loved that story and I loved how honest you were and authentic about the whole thing. And I believe, strongly believe, there's a lot of limiting beliefs we put on ourselves because of the environment we surround ourselves with.
Hmm.
Like you thought making a business is hard. That's a limited belief because we haven't been exposed to that environment that you got exposed in America. And then, like, oh, it's a piece of cake. Just start a business, and then it's easy. Same scenario for me. So, my mom is a single mom, and sometimes it was difficult to even put food on the table because she was working for somewhere. And genuinely, I didn't even think this entrepreneurship, I didn't even know what the word meant. But then I came to UK and it's all about who you're being exposed to. And I was like, maybe it isn't as difficult, as I thought it was.
Yeah, no, that's exactly the point. Is also exposure, people who are around you. I always say, for me, a lot is connected to my faith. I think we had that
Yeah.
conversation
Yeah.
before, and I really believe that there was a point. Me moving to US was connected to my faith. I came here to
Mm.
pursue my faith, and I really, with that, one things I did one time with a mentor asked me like, if you had all the money in this world, like no limits, nothing could go wrong, what would you do? And I remember I started just like saying things like, and he wrote like few pages of things that I would do. He was actually pretty, she actually, my mentor was female. She was pretty, amazed because she's like normally people stops in 3 4 they takes a long time to think about it, where for me I went on and on and on, like I had like
Wow.
so many. And she, between those things, a lot was about like businesses.
Mhm.
Like I already had something inside of me, wanted to build something more. But like you say, I was just in the place that it made it look so hard or so scary. And then like once I moved here, I believe like by just following God and following where He takes, He put me in between around people that they were similar mindset, and that's why that helped it a lot. And finally I was able to kind of like, okay, I that's the only choice I have, like I want to stay here in US. The only choice I have, I need to jump in this unknown
Yeah,
road
deep
that's like
waters.
starting your own business, and let's do that. And yeah, that's how it started.
I'm wondering if you had a bit of a runaway because exactly the moment you start the business, so much entrepreneurship is out there. Should I leave my 8 to 4? Should I leave it and then try to run my agency on the back end to make sure I have a bit of a runaway, a bit of a money coming in from clients? How exactly was it for you? I'm wondering the details, the story there.
I mean, honestly, I didn't have so much option because for me to get like a job here in US, it would have been like pretty much impossible,
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't have a visa for work in the US. It was a studying visa. Means like if I wanted to go to work, I actually got offer in the US, but all the offers was you need to work full time because obviously corporates company they're not gonna give you a visa paying all those money for you to work part time.
I see. Mm-hmm.
Then on me it was like okay, I had to make a choice because I know starting a business. By that time, I understood one thing: it's like business is like if you want to make it work, you have to put time, you have to put hours. But at the
Mm,
same time, if I'm like now requesting a visa to be paid by this business, and I need to put hours from to this company because like they're literally paying for my visa, they're paying
yeah.
money for me. I'm always been the type of person like I'm not gonna just take from you and be like, oh, like that's it. But I'm gonna focus on my selfish reason, or like on my business. If a company was gonna pay for my visa and everything, obviously I want to make sure I can give my 100%, 120% to make sure that I can pay back kind of like what they're doing for me. Yeah, I was like, "No, this is not gonna work. I have to trust God and I need to go all in the business." I was blessed that my father-in-law gave us invested in our business $25,000
Oh, wow.
um, at the beginning, and that we paid back with interest and everything, but that was our kick to start pretty much.
Yeah.
That one, and the fact that I had a friend that I met in the gym that he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be the first one, what like, I want you to hire." And he's still one of my first best clients, is actually one of my
Yeah.
top clients because, since then his business has grown even more. That means, like, he's
Wow.
paying also more. Uh
It just proves, I think, one point where building a relationship with a client before they ever become a client or there's any potential is so, so, so important. Like you said, you didn't even know he owned the business.
exactly, yeah, exactly, that's I think, like, the best clients I had were all built to relationship more than just, like, I would say transaction work, like, like I have this and everything. I mean, those one are good money, and I'm not belittle those projects, like they pay everything, but I really enjoy those clients that came to relationship, and they're kind of like family. Like I know everyone in the
Oh,
business,
that's sweet. Yeah.
and they know everyone, they know my family, they know my wife, they know my kids. It's like we work in a different level, and yeah, we respect each other. I feel like sometimes that's the problem when you have project based company. Sometimes there is
Mhm.
no respect. People tend to not respect you.
And you become an order taker.
Yes, exactly.
I recently spoke with somebody, and it's a bit of a sad story there, but it proves the point. Is he said he was hiking. He owns an agency. He was hiking in the mountains, and suddenly he was alone, and he had a heart attack. So he was hospitalized for a while. Fortunately, the clients that were with him, because they were relationship based and they knew the person in and out and their family as well, they stayed on with him even though he wasn't delivering what obviously was promised because he was hospitalized. But that's what proves that relationship based partnerships are the best. You can rely on them on both sides, even. This is just one example. But even if something goes wrong with the business, if they're having a tough spot, I'm sure you're so invested that you would maybe for a while even go to rough measures in order to help them through that rough patch.
Yeah, exactly. No, and they would do the same. Like
Yeah.
they when I had my first baby, they send like gifts and money.
Oh,
Like
that's
it's like for big because they kind of like there was that different type of relationship and stuff. And same things. Like I've been doing. Sometimes I do. I like to try code new softwares and try and creating new projects. And I do always that in the back end when, like I'm sometimes on the couch watching a movie and I have my laptop on my legs and like just trying something new.
yeah.
And then I'm like, if something looks good, I'm like, I always contact, they are my first contact where I contact them and it's like, hey, can I test this on your business? for
Nice.
free.
Yeah.
They don't pay anything to
Mhm.
do that. And for them, it's like if it works, and many times there are new things I done that works. They're like they're super happy. They got for free. But in some, for me, it's not. They didn't got for free. Like they paid through the loyalty,
Mhm. Mhm.
the fact that we know each other, we
Yes.
love each other, we take care of each other. Is like for me that was more important. I don't care, and I'm totally open to give it to them. Where I hate when people comes to me and ask me like, "Hey, can you do this for free?" Or like they're most demanded, and I'm like, should be my own free will wanted to give you something for free, not
Yeah.
just because you say,
True.
"Hey, I don't have money," means equal. I don't have money equal. You give it from to me for free. It's like that's not how it works. Business works. Like you build a
Yeah. You
relationship.
need to be
Trust.
paying your bills end of the day as well. Yeah. No,
Exactly.
exactly.
It's like
But I love when you said that loyalty aspect because I'm sure even your clients appreciate that you're so innovative and you keeping on the lookout. What is the next big thing that's coming out or the software? This could really break, especially now in the AI era.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, they love it. They enjoy. I mean, sometimes they're like. Actually, before this call, I was just speaking about. We were doing some of the salespeople whenever they do the price breakdown and everything. It was a bit manual. Um,
Mm.
And I was like, why we don't build like a full calculator? With the AI now, it's like build a calculator. I literally did like it took me like about 10 minutes. I started like 10 minutes before the podcast and I sent already a few the
Wow.
first version to my client of the calculator breakdown. And like it can automatically you can insert them and in real time like does all the calculation and tells them like for example like in 6 months or 1 year how much the clients could save by using us
Mm.
instead of like the competitors stuff like that. And it's like, and the link can be shared with anyone. Means, and it's like, and my clients was like, wow, this is much more complex than the things we were using before. It's much better. There's more variable, like it's more dynamic, and he was super happy. And it's like, and for me, it was just something came to my mind like. Just 10 minutes ago and 15 minutes ago, I asked it if he would like to try it. And he was like, yes, let's try it. And I just give a try and I built it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If you wouldn't get on these client meetings or you wouldn't have built that relationship, you wouldn't really know the areas that they're struggling with or potentially could be interested in this tool. But you know them inside and out. So you're actually offering something that you're like, I think this would actually be a, game changer for you.
Exactly, yeah. That's partially why we do more like I call consulting, advising part of it because like I'm done just I mean if you come to us with a project and you say like I just want this, we can do that. But actually my goal is to be advising you towards what is the best solution for your business and actually look at your business inside out, understanding like okay, what are the process you're taking right now and what are the points would better fit the position and what better works for you and for your team and not just like whatever you just giving you come and you tell me like hey I want this, we can do that, but also I want to make sure they can really see the potential on optimization and not just spend money or waste money on something that could do the job but not the best.
Well, that's the thing with clients. Sometimes they're limited to what the same thing, limited beliefs to the environment they're
Hmm.
exposed to. Obviously, speaking to you, you've got a different perspective because you were experienced with this, and that client. So you can bring that to the table, which is that consultative approach that you just
Yes.
mentioned as well, right? So it's more like a growth partner rather than just an agency, pretty much.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, that's exactly. Sometimes for example, because of that, sometimes one part of my agency that has been growing in the last year is people pay me also with shares of their company if they want.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
like for me, it's like my goal is to see you growing. My end
yeah,
goal is
long
not just
term.
like get $60,000 to make this happen and then I'm gone. Like I want to see grow and I want also to get paid in long run for the help that I given you like in 1 year, 2 years. And that's where I'm looking more. I'm looking for those people that are like, oh yeah, I need someone, like I would like someone that is more technical of you and is okay in spending a lot of time looking into these things and helping me optimize my systems and add the new software, add the new
Wow.
solution.
That's a really good approach that you have with that long investing in that long-term growth and having shares of the company, because that means you're investing, you're going to look for the newest innovative approach for them, and you seem very technically minded. So it seems like it's a piece of cake for you and actually enjoy it because the background that you have.
Yeah, 100%. Even if I always tell people, majority of the idea comes to me like 10 minutes before going to sleep. I'm like in the bed,
Perfect time.
laid on my pillow, and somehow I'm like, why I'm thinking about this? And it's like my mind is
Mhm.
like, "Oh, do this and this." And then sometimes I literally have my phone on the side. I would just
Yes.
open the notes, write it down, turn it off,
Mhm.
and then be like, okay, now I need to go to sleep too.
I heard this as well. You either do it in a journal or on the phone because otherwise you'll just be thinking you won't be able to switch off because you're like, I don't want to forget about this and I have so many other ideas there. It's sort of you need to get your sleep as well though. So it's good that you can switch off sometimes or find hobbies and things that you like to do to have that little break from the
Oh,
business of yours.
100%. You need to switch off at night. I'm like, I need to sleep. And I always say, like, the time I decide to go to sleep, kind of like set my mind. It's like, a lot of
Huh.
people was like, how do you go to sleep? Like, how you sleep so long and you don't have problem, you don't think about. I was like, yeah, because I just train myself and teach myself that, like, once I get in bed, it's like, what is important, I write on my notes and my journaling. Like anything else, it's deleted, like cancel.
Mhm.
Like I delete everything. I'm like, I'm going to sleep. I literally need to just sleep. I'm not gonna think about any of that. And
Unless
then, yeah,
unless I think you just exhaust yourself so much throughout the day, especially you I think you mentioned you have kids as well,
oh, yes,
that you
exactly.
just put your head on the pillow and that's it. You're out like a light.
Yeah, that's also true. I mean, that helps too. Yeah, when you're super exhausted, it also helps.
Yeah, yeah, even with kids and running a business, it's not no easy feat.
Yeah, and I think like there is like hard times through all life because you learn through hard times. For example, like university used to be really hard for me. Exams time when you had to do exams and things like used to feel as hard as running a business now. Obviously,
Um,
when I look back, I'm like, yeah, that was people's okay. While I was even like, was I was even stressed about like that's nothing compared to
mhm.
today. But at the same time, like I didn't have experience of it yet to be like, oh, this is a piece of cake. Now that I have even a harder experience, that's like running a business and having kids, then I can say that's a piece of cake. But like at that time, I didn't have any comparison of what was harder to be like, oh, this is not really hard. You know, like I didn't have experienced anything worse yet to,
Mhm.
for me to say like, oh, that's not hard. And that's fine. That's why like you have to learn to kind of like you were saying, like to be able to shut down your mind, to
Yes.
shut down everything around you, and it's fine. Like it's okay. Like 8 hours to shut down is not gonna kill no one.
Your business is still gonna survive. It's just get you a sleep, get you a rest, spend your time with your family, which I believe you said till 11 o'clock in the morning. You're not taking any client meetings. You spend your time with your son and with God, which is so important in your lifestyle and with your wife as well, I believe you mentioned.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's big things. Like actually, I learned that by traveling.
Mm.
When I was in Europe, you know, like most of the people they are sleeping in US, you know, during the morning hours of Italy.
Oh, okay.
Because of the 8 hours different. Majority of my clients they're like mountain time and Pacific time, and then they get really active evening and night. And through that, I noticed how like one things I was like, at night is beautiful. Like everyone is sleeping. It's just myself and my laptop. It's amazing, like, it was amazing, like, there was not my son, I love him, but, like, you know, he wants to spend time with me, and it's fine, but, like,
Yeah.
at night, you he sleeps perfect. I was like, "That's perfect." I mean, I can have, like, I can focus on one task for 1 hour, 2 hours, and never be distracted 1 second.
Mm.
I love that, and I noticed that, and then I was like, "What if I try to replicate this once I go back to the US? What if, like, even if I live in US, I work as I live in Italy, for example, you know, like, I don't work in the morning
Oh,
until
I
11,
see.
12, and then, like, I start to work after that, and I start to test it out, and it worked out. Like, honestly, I didn't lost many meeting, like, I had really few meeting in the morning, and majority of people, they were totally okay to move the meeting instead of, like, 9 AM to 11 of, they didn't care. For them, didn't make any difference. A lot of people, they were even happier when I told them, like, "Yeah, we can do at 5 PM, 6 PM." They were like, "Oh, perfect, like this. Once I finish work, we can discuss about, like, what happened and other things." I was like, "Okay, since everyone is happy."
So are Italians, because I've been to Italy a couple of times, absolutely love the place. I've been to Rome, I've been to Venice as well,
Rome
fashion city, Milan.
A fashion city, Milan?
Milan, yes, that's the one. So I love Italy. So do you say they wake up later in the day and they start work later, so they love to sort of sleep in? Is that what you were saying?
No, not normally Italian.
No,
That's me. I go
that's you.
It's
Okay.
me changing. No, I grew up actually I was the type of person that was super active and working like really early, 6 a.m. Because I grew up also with my grandparents, farmers and everything. It's always about
Oh
like you wake
yes,
up
hard
with the
workers.
sun,
Yeah.
like or before sun. But it's something I figured out lately because as I say, be a tourist in Italy with all your clients in the US, it shows you that like in the morning, like no one is awake. Like even if I would send an email, I started
I
waking up
see.
early in Italy and sending email at 8 a.m. in Italy, and then I figure out like, oh, it's just midnight in Denver.
Okay.
It's like no one is gonna respond an email at midnight. I'm like, okay, that means like I don't have to do anything until 1 p.m. Why am I even waking up early?
I wanna dive more into that agency model. So you identify something that every marketing agency has, but nobody fixes. So the gap between the leads generated and leads actually closed. So first things first, I want to know, how did you figure out that gap? And exactly what is the solution that you offer for helping to close those clients?
Yes, what will happen was came from a request of a client. Client was like, okay, we want to con. He was like, we let's start to build a system where we have our people do cold calls to convince people to request a free sample. Pretty much was not even for a sales. We were calling them with the idea like, hey, do you want a free sample of our product?
Mm.
It's free. You don't pay anything. We pay the shipping, everything. Like you just get a free sample. Or we want you to try it. And we were doing that, but then we were like, okay, we need to track this because we need to understand where the samples goes, who is taking it, and everything. And we're like, okay, and we start to create with Excel sheets. And mind you, this is not something happen in a month. Like the development of the system and then the ideas, it came to a year of work of like trying to understand. I was like, okay, this is not working good enough, we need something better, something that's more. And then like by this, between having a meeting between me and the owner of the business, we kind of start to say like, wait, why we are doing this, why we're sending emails manually, why we don't automate them. And I was like, okay, let's start to build a workflow to actually start to how to say, like reconnect with the people we send the sample. And
Mhm.
then once they reply to those automated email, then we can like add the manual touch where someone really call them and make it sure that things. And then with that simple workflow of just like follow-ups with them, it became like, okay, but what happened when people say no? Are these
Mm.
people like really like gone, or like how we classify this no? We should classify a no, because in the beginning it was like no is a no, but then we were like, wait a minute, like not every no is the same as the same meaning. Like some no is like, hey, no right now. Some no is like, no, I hated this. But even and even that, after 2 years working later, we have even came to another conclusion. People sell business all the time, or people goes like manager change all the time. That means even the no that was like a strict no, saying like, no, I don't like you, like in a year this guy is gone and there's a new manager, and you call the new manager, and now this manager loves you. It's like, where, okay, where I talk. And it's like, like was all this process of years figuring out like, wait, actually we can build more follow-up and more follow-up and more follow-up and more follow-up. And then it became like a giant net where like it's a more complex workflow and
Yes,
deal
yeah.
execution, where you actually have to figure out, okay, what each no means. And then like, is a follow-up good in 3 months, 6 months, maybe in a year? What does it mean? But like at the end of the day, we find out that no one, I'm saying, ever leaves this loop.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like the only people that leave the loop are the people that their business close.
Aha.
They
Mhm.
go bankruptcy and close. Except from that, there is no reason why a person should ever leave your sales workflow, market workflow.
Mhm. Mhm.
They should stay in the loop for as long you exist, as long their business exists and your business exists. A person should stay in that wheel all the time.
It seems like it was very extensive and a lot of research went into it. How can you test responses? Like, because obviously each business is going to be different. How can you test the no's or the responses to the no's and like the different sort of strategies there?
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, there is like a lot of collaboration between me and the owners of the
Yeah.
business. We have to kind of like, and that's why the approach is not something that the system itself, it takes about maybe a month to be built, it, like the basic of the system. But then, like making sure that it's optimized and works at the best, it can take up to a year. Because then like you say, okay, let's test this flow, and let's see how, like, by getting, I don't know, about 100 200 people in this workflow, what is our reply rate, what is our click-through rate and everything. And then it's like, okay, looks like this email does better than this mail, this text message does better than this one. Okay, we need to change these. And like you keep modifying. And honestly, like the longest client I have has been running this system for 3 years, and even today we are still making changes to it
Yeah. Because you always
because
constantly need to optimize.
yeah, because people change, the society around them change, and the way they think about something is changed about that type of product and everything. That means they also their question change. Maybe before they were more like focused on like what are the ingredients inside. Actually, one example: before, most of the people, they just care about price, right? But now there is a like the mindset of health and like ingredients inside is becoming more and more important, where we get more question or knows on the point of like what are the ingredients inside the things we want to know exactly, because we want to tell our client like this is what is inside. Those are the things, like society can change that. It means like now those emails, they need to reflect a little bit that what society is doing, like, and you have to review them.
From what I understand, end of the day, around your product, you need to build that trust and authenticity of what is inside the product, and just building that relationship in a way through that email. Even though they said no, you're still sort of there on keeping on top of mind. I have a very good example, actually, exactly what you said is there's this coffee called Exhale, and it's meant to be this organic coffee roasted to the right level. And actually, they obviously gave a free sample. That's how I got in on them. And I was like, oh my gosh, this coffee is actually really good. I'm not getting the jitters I usually get. And then I ended up with a subscription, and it ended up from a sample. But it's all that system being in place as well to build that connection.
Exactly, yeah. And then there is the things is I don't remember exactly the percentage. It's I need to review them. But for example, the percentage of people that they buy for the first, I mean, like they see your brand and they buy the first time, it's like really low. There's like it's less than 20%. There is a chance that if you showed your product and everything, those people that buy, that's why we send sample, because we want to make sure that like at least they try it. And now we have double the chance that they are coming for the second time. Now, like instead to be 20%, it's gonna be 40% that those people, they're gonna chance they're gonna buy. But the problem is like even the second time is not enough. Like the statistics show that like if you convince a person to come for the third time, now they are loyal customers. It's not the second time that's become loyal customer. It's the third time that becomes loyal customer. Then like the game is how I'm gonna not stop myself on pursuing them just after the second order, but actually I'm gonna pursue them on the third order until they get to the third order. Because like we have seen that also with the clients, like they bought the first time, they tried the sample, they got convinced, they bought the second time, and then we look back and they're gone. Like they're not there. And then we notice that like the people that actually buy third time, they're still buying it.
So what do you do with the people that didn't, well, only bought the second time? Do you still give them free samples, or what's the process there for?
That's what happens sometimes. Like we actually
Mhm.
either like, you know what, if it's been more than a year since they bought, last time they bought, we are willing to call them again and give another sample.
Yeah, or like a discount, because like, yeah,
Yes.
and that's the
That
so
would be the
many.
best way if you can catch before. The problem as we never noticed that before. And no one told me that.
Uh-huh.
Like it's like things that we notice, like, having so many companies, I start to kind of notice the pattern. And then
Mm.
it's like, and then finally, maybe I heard one or two marketing people that they were kind of like saying it and not really revealing it. The fact that like there is actually a percent, it's like really a real thing is like, it's considered loyal your customer once you get to the third time. Like before that, the percentage is still less than 50% that they're gonna back.
End of the day, it's data. If you're not tracking it, how do you know what to fix, right? You need that data to work off it. And then you come into the organization and you do your magic pretty much. But what I wonder is because you sort of bridge the gap between marketing and sales, and those two I often hear don't get along. So how messy was it actually in the beginning? Or it depends how big the business is.
Yeah, depends how big the business is. Some business, bigger business, have better systems in place that already like there is some type of communication and could only be optimized. Some it's worse. Some bigger business is worse because they work as a department.
Yeah.
Like I'm the marketing people. Oh, we are the sales. Like the marketing is like we create the leads. It's your problem, and then the sales is like, oh, I'm just doing the call, and I'm like, it's like both of them, like I always say this system is mostly for salespeople. I'm trying always to focus on them and trying to train them to be like, hey, this is gonna only actually make sense mostly for you because salespeople work on commission, right? And for most of the salespeople, and for me, I always saying like, if you look, there are some video that went around, like they were one of the question was about like there was this guy who was actually asking for a room full of salespeople, like how many people um makes more has a flow that automatically follow up with their client, and then I think like 10 people raise their hand, and then like and how many of you has a flow that reminds you to follow up and automatic follow up that it's more than 3 months, and then more than 6 months, and then a year long. And then at the end, there was only one person left that has like
All
flow
this.
that follow up, keep following up with people for as long as 1 year. And he asked him like, okay, how much you made commission last year? He made like 1 million something. And he was like, here we go. This is the 1% salesperson. And the difference between him and all the other is not because he's totally like the best pitcher and everything. It's just because like he has like a 12 months follow up system in place
Wow.
that he never give up on no one. Like the people kept
Yeah.
running inside there.
Yeah, I loved how you said one thing. When they say no, it's not like a hard no. It can be a not right now.
Exactly.
And that's a very good analogy in this scenario. What I want to understand is, for example, you say all these follow ups, and it seems all very complex. Obviously, if it's done manually, I can imagine days and hours. I'm sure you have some sort of an automation there. So is it automatic? What you set up in there, and it just runs on autopilot?
Yeah, it's everything automated. There is no interaction from the user or the salesperson until there is a response from like a response uh, from the client or the possible customer lead to that automation. And even in that case, normally the salesperson read the response, has to ask a question is like, where we're gonna move this person, like deal stage. There are different stage where the customer goes through. And we build that based on different company, depends which is the company, as the stage can be called in different way. But some of the stages that are pretty much similar to everyone, there is a qualified stage and then unqualified stage, and then there is like reply. That's where when the person reply goes in the reply stage, waiting for the salesperson to read the reply. And then once they reply, the salesperson normally like two stage that are basic for everyone is called like 3 months follow up, 6 months follow.
Wow. Yeah, I can imagine all that automation sequence. It must be a very spider web, complicated stuff going on there. You mentioned about CRM. Is there like an in-house CRM or a particular one that you like to use for your clients? And how do you track the data? Like, how do you know this client bought from us once and it didn't buy the second time, for example?
Yeah, it comes a lot on the CRM. There are some more complex CRM like HubSpot or Salesforce. They are like really expensive CRM, but the amount of like how deep they can go in their data, it's like crazy. And then there is like other CRM that I become more a fan of. For example, Odoo. I don't know if you have heard of it. It's like open source CRM. It's really cheap because it's open source. Obviously, like you have to have some background on understand a little bit of coding, really high level, but like I mean, if your budget is really small, it give you the same power of HubSpot, in fraction of the price.
Wow.
Obviously, sometimes you need developer or someone that knows a little bit coding to be able to get a certain level. The things that I would always say is now with the AI, honestly, a lot of that data you can, if you know how to like just to do API connection, a webhook connection, you can pull that data and use AI to put it together. You know, like I can, for example, I can go in cloud and tell cloud, hey, can you here, I connect the cloud with, you need to know how to do that. You connect cloud with HubSpot and say, Cloud, I want you to pull all the data and I want to do a visual of how many clients had done, have
Mm,
bought 2 times, how many 3 times, how many 4. And you can connect to Shopify, you can connect, and he can
I
pull that
see.
data. And you don't even have to use, like before you have to use software, specific software that they already built up to do that connection. Now cloud can make that connection if you have a little bit of
Mhm.
like technical skills, and he can pull everything from all these softwares, and you can create any report you want. And you can even ask him to create the monthly report, telling him like, hey, I want every month, the first of the month at 3 p.m., send me like a report about like how many orders, how many comes from ads, how many comes from emails, how many comes from this. Tell me like what is the CAC, tell me what is the lifetime value. He can do, you can literally tell him to do all of that, and he can do every month he's gonna send you an email with all of that just by connecting
So
without
you
you.
have to set these systems up for your clients and to make sure you've got all that information to work off with and all the sequence and the follow-ups in place.
Yeah, I do a lot of tests. It's something that people don't understand. It's really important when it comes to AI. AI is not bulletproof. AI has a lot of, can make a lot of mistakes on the data he gets. For example, like I saw with HubSpot, I was building like a system, and when I send the data on purpose to my client first, and it's like, hey, what doesn't make this data sense to you? And he was like, no, there's something wrong. And we double checked manually with HubSpot, and I was like, yeah, there were like a few numbers that were out, like they were wrong. And I had to really dig down. I'm like, what is going on? Why you are doing even this thing? And I found out that it was a simple reason, simply like cloud was taking all the data based on um the central, the general time zone, like the one that's like general for the world, instead of like Pacific time zone.
Okay, yeah,
And
yeah.
for me was the 1st of March, like it was like moved by hours.
Wow, of
There
course.
were like 8 hours of difference compared to where I was expecting to see. And that's why there were these numbers that were not
Gotcha.
reconciled
Yeah.
right. And I was like, wow, that's such a like a basic things. But like, how many times people that basic things they don't even notice because they're like, oh, it's AI. Like those are the data. It's fine. It's all fine. But like it makes a difference because like I have to calculate based on my time zone because like this is my business. It's here. I need to make sure all my software, everything, they're like on the same time zone.
Giuseppe, my next question to you is with lead generation, what have you tried? What didn't work? What's working right now, in your opinion, to generate more of those clients that you can deliver these sort of results for that you're talking about here?
Yes. See, it's lead generation. I learned through years that depends a lot on the business you are in product company that I are my main category for themselves to generate leads. Actually, most of the best way is like offer free samples. Like
Yeah.
nothing is beating free
I love
samples.
a good freebie as well.
Yeah, exactly. Now you can spam people as you want. You can do through email, through cold calling. Honestly, I love cold calling. Like people say it's dated and everything. I don't think so. Like cold calling, mostly if it's spammy and you're not trying to sell something, but you're just calling someone to say like, "Hey, do you want something for free?" I like all I need your address and I'm sending you something for free. It's like majority of people are like, "Why not?" I'm like, "Where I'm
Yeah.
gonna lose? They're not gonna get my data. They're not gonna." Like everything is already public. Why I would even care about it? That's why it's like it's a little bit simpler in that in sense. Service business, it's like ours. It's a little bit more complicated depending on how fast you can actually show the value of what you're doing. I noticed in my case that approaching small business, it's actually not good for me. Uh,
Okay.
when I kill a small business, I'm speaking about small business, like less than
Rum and pops.
less than $1 million
Mhm.
revenue, just because they haven't understood yet
The
actually what
hustle.
what actually is not working and what actually can work. And I've done a lot of I have offered like crazy stuff. Things like, hey, you pay me commission. I build everything, I do things, and you just pay me. And they literally never respond to me, even contact back and never like answer no one. And I'm like, what do you want from me anymore? Like, but yeah, after you figure out what is like your nice, you have to understand what is like the right clients for you. For example,
Mm-hmm.
I say like for me is like 1 to 10 million revenue. Let's say we put it there. And at that point, my goal now is to go and looking where these people spend most of the time. And then, like, if I see these people spending a lot of the time on their phone, now I'm trying to start some type of like lead generation connected to whatever app or social media or software they're using most. And that's the way I build it. I still like a lot of connection going to business group, and a lot of time it's like some people see it as a waste of time because like I mean I understand, yes, I have to put more effort, I have to go get a coffee and everything, but again, going back to that, for me, I like to build those like longer relationship because if the people trust me, it's prone to give me share of their business and I'm gonna make money for a long time because I'm
Mm-hmm.
not looking just for the project. If you're looking just for the project, that's gonna it's maybe it's not the best because it's not gonna give you the best return and maybe you want to add other type of system.
It's sort of like an old school approach, but it makes sense to me. You love building that relationship, but now it's like fashion. Old school always comes back because this is the thing that feels more authentic. Yes, it's a little bit slower to build those relationships, but then, like you said, they're more chance to have a share of the company, to have that long-term partnership that they're looking for as well. What I want to ask is, I think you previously mentioned about cold email.
Mhm.
You said that you tried it and it didn't really work too well for you. Just want to know your experience about that.
Yes, cold email I tried from a specific business. I would say like it's not that I didn't got response. I got it. I just was not again the type of clients and things was like was not the perfect for me. And again, I go also back to the fact like I think I was when I used it, I was not prepared. I didn't figure out yet what exactly I like, what people I wanted, what are my main
Yeah.
the main type of clients I need, and that's why also like. But I mean, I got project from it. As I got a few website design when we still used to do some website design and everything. Actually, I think for website design is great. That one is great for website design and LinkedIn outreach.
Uh,
It also works really good. Yeah, it's fantastic because like it's more like I think like people can see like, oh, miss like I literally have a problem. I don't have a website, or like I literally have a problem. My website is not doing good, and it's
yeah.
like such a more like a tangible problem they have. Where like the problem I'm trying to show them something that like I need time to explain to them what the problem is. Like, for example, I've in the past I've done some webinars where like I took time to actually take a group of people and explain them what's actually the problem behind. And I had like literally like all the people in the room they bought it, the project.
That's
Because
great.
like they finally they saw it like was like a fantastic turnaround. Now the real problem is also like how I'm always bringing people in the room. You need to make sure you bring always the right people in the room that I was kind of like lucky at that time because like all the people that came in the room they had the money to do it and they were capable to,
Of
but
course.
like you have to be able to do that. I did another one and it was not great. It didn't went well.
Why did you stop webinars? It seems like it was going so well for you.
I think like it's more like change. I think like the thing I would say, like, I think about partially stupidity too, ignorance.
Uh-huh.
Is like you always hear the next great idea and you're like, oh, I need to try this. You know, it sounds like less work. Let me try that. And that's where I always tell like a lot of business owner, entrepreneur, and people that starts is like, honestly, the things that's gonna work best to you is the one that you're gonna be consistent a year after year after year after year after year after year. Even cold email can work. I know a lady like she built like a full business and that she sold it for millions of dollars just through
Uh-huh.
cold email. And um yeah, she was crazy consistent. Now, cold emails, like for people don't know, you have to be careful. You burn a lot of domains because you don't want to use your main domains to go cold
No.
email, or you're gonna destroy it. Like means okay, you need to buy. There is like all a system behind. I was like, and for example, when I did the first time, I didn't know that, and I almost destroyed my own domain.
Wow.
And then I was like, "Dang," I was like, and then I asked this lady I met, and she explained to me, and I was like, this is totally another world. That's why I'm saying like, and she figured out through years of experience, any type of lead generation system, it's based on year of testing, year of experience here. Like if you try for like few months and you're like, "Ah, it doesn't work." It's not, few months is not enough to
You just
learn.
haven't cracked the code yet. You haven't been consistent, like you said, right? With the cold email or any other strategy you're testing.
Yeah, click funnels, all these things, like they're based on the assumption that you're gonna make work for years, not for just 1 month or 2 months. I'm saying for years on the same system, and then like, yeah, you're gonna be successful.
What is your goal for the agency for the next year? Do you have any milestones?
Yeah, as I say, right now my goal is actually buying businesses, other business that people want to exit, buy those business and start to plug all this experiences system in those businesses and just build them up. That's
Wow,
my
a
goal.
great
Yeah, I
approach.
want to transition the agency to acquire business. Like it's gonna be more like an acquisition. And then again, if there are people interested, still contact us and give us equity, we're gonna do that. But yeah, I'm trying to move away from project based things, but more like equity based system.
So what's going to happen with your current agency? Are you sort of repositioning it, as you
Yeah.
said, to an acquisition
Mhm.
point?
It's gonna just reposition. I mean, the business still there. I choose my who I want to work with really like selectively on who I'm working with. I want to work with people that obviously we are aligned to the fact that we want to work this business. We want to make big, and we are not gonna just cry every cent, dollars, every penny. Like if you are that type of person that get an heart attack for every penny, maybe we should not work together. But like I'm sure you're gonna get extra and more, 10 times more than you're gonna invest in this partnership back if we are like you're gonna trust it, we're gonna work together. And those are the type of people I want to work with. And then apart from that, my goal is like again literally buying other business and just start to use my agency to take care of those business, build the systems and everything and grow them.
Few months ago, had a podcast with somebody and he was sort of looking on that exit. Very interesting lad, likes to use a lot of automation in his business as well. And he's sort of thinks he got the agents to the point of that's it, I can't do anymore. I want to have an exit. Like next person come in and make it even greater. So sort of aligns with what you're saying there. Giuseppe, if people wanted to connect with you, find out more information about what you're doing, or maybe check out your services, where should you guide them?
Yeah, I would say you can find me on my LinkedIn. You can search my name. And then there is Quarata Consulting is literally my agents. You can find there. What I'm talking about is I call the Prestige Evolution System. That's literally the name of the system that I was talking about. It's a three-phase system. That's why I say it takes about a year. It's a year long project if you want the full system where we actually partnership together, and then I'm gonna not just like give you a product but look at your business, and we're gonna together build like the right solution and system and automations and any other software you need to make sure that your business can accelerate and work better than ever before. Those are like the way to get in touch with me on the best way.
Giuseppe, well, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time and talk with me. Just to let the audience know as well, Giuseppe does have another podcast he does himself. I believe you said you do with your wife, or you talk a lot about God and Christianity and sort of how it affects your life and
Mhm.
business as well. So I think I saw it on your LinkedIn. So hopefully I can log it down here below as well for anyone who is curious to check that out too.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, they can go if they go on LinkedIn, they're gonna find it. It's called
Yeah.
Alike Marketing.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's called alike marketing is like because what I was talking today is like there is some more behind marketing that's not said online. And the reason why
Mhm.
is because like everyone that does marketing and sales, they need to make money somehow. Like if they tell you everything, you're gonna they're not gonna make money. Those gurus tell you like they're not gonna tell you everything. The step by step you need to buy for that. My goal is I'm not capable to tell you everything because I'm not the guru of every marketing type of there is like so many ways to market. There is so many ways to do sales and everything. Like we spoke about cold call, cold emailing, and I cannot. No one can be the guru of all the type of sales system, and but at the same time, I want to allow people to see that basically they go back to like a general idea of like people say, you have to solve a problem first of all, but also like you have to create a relationship with people even through your emails. Your email need to feel like a relationship email, a relational
Mhm.
email, not like a transactional email.
Yeah.
That's the basically, and I use the Bible for that. And also we speak about other things with my wife. We always believe that one principle can be used, can be applied for different situation, can be for business, but can be for your relationship, can be for other things, like finances, health. Should never like just taken for one, and like it never works
And
for.
forgotten about. Yeah. Great approach there, Giuseppe. For anyone who's watching, if you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe. And let me know your favorite takeaway from Giuseppe down below in the comments. Thank you for
Yes,
watching.
thank you everyone.